Hello everyone, welcome to the video on organic chemistry strategies for GPAT. In this video, I have explained previous organic chemistry related questions with complete explanation. And recently, my channel has crossed this milestone of 1700 subscribers. Thank you subscribers. Now let us get into the class. Now in GPAT 2018, there is a question about hybridization of acetic acid. Now, when you see the options, you have all the combination of sp3, sp2, sp things. You need to understand what is the hybridization, then look for the option. Don't directly go for the options because you will get confused with all the multiple combinations. When you see acetic acid, see the carbon atom of this one is sp3 hybridized, whereas the other carbon is sp2 hybridized. Oxygen is sp3, but the question is about only carbon atoms. So the answer is sp3 and sp2. So this is the answer. But we know the answer, but you need to understand the concept. Let us see the concept. See, in order to understand the concepts, you need to understand certain basic things. Carbon atomic number is 6. When you see the electronic configuration, it is spread as 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. So this 1 indicates first orbit, 2 indicates second orbit. The outer shell is second orbit and these are known as valency electrons. So valency electrons are the one which will participate in chemical bonding, hence we need to consider these electrons. Now when you see the orbital pictures, at second orbit you have 2 s electrons are there. In case of p orbitals, you have 3 p orbitals are there, but you have 2 electrons are there. So totally 4 electrons are there. Now see, these are px, py and pz. Now when you see this one, this is in the ground state. When carbon gets excited, the movement of this s electron goes to this empty p orbital and you will get orbital something like this. In s you are left with 1 electron because the other electron is moved to p orbital, and then in p you have all the 3 orbitals are occupied with electrons. So look at them. In valency shell, carbon has got 4 electrons. Now if you remember what is octet rule, according to octet rule, if the valency shell contains 8 electrons, that is the most stable configuration. That is what octet says. That means all of them has to have paired electrons, and that gives stability. So what do you have in carbon? You have already 4 electrons are there and it needs 4 more electrons. That is the reason why carbon will form 4 covalent bonds. Covalent bond means sharing of electron with other atoms. So remember this one, wherever you see carbon has got 4 covalent bonds, the reason is it has to satisfy this octet rule. In order to satisfy that octet rule, it needs to get 4 more electrons. So this is the basic thing about carbons. Now let us understand one more thing. The thing is called as hybridization. Now look at them. When you see this, s orbital and 3 of the p orbitals are there. Now you have different shapes are there. S orbital is like this, whereas p orbital is dumbbell shaped, right? It has got these different shapes are there. The problem is all the orbitals are in different energy levels. They have difference in energy levels and they are different in their shapes. So hybridization, the purpose of hybridization is to make degenerate orbitals. Degenerate means all the energy will be equalized and shapes will have a uniform shape. And the hybridization results in, see what you have 1s and totally 3 p orbitals are there. All of them will combine together and form hybrid orbitals. That is what is meant by hybridization. You know, see this 4 orbitals because of 1s and 3 p orbitals, hence it is known as sp3 hybridization. Now all of them, what do you see? You have only 1 electron is present in everywhere, right? So in order to satisfy octet rule, it needs 4 more electrons. Let us take the simple example of CH4, methane, right? So already carbon has got sp3 hybrid orbitals and all the electrons are like this. Now hydrogen comes with its electron and forms a bond here. See, look at this. This is what happens in methane. See, the 4 hydrogens comes with 4 electrons and forms a covalent bond with this carbon. So how many electrons are there? Overall 8 electrons are there. So octet rule is satisfied and that is how covalent bonding occurs. So this is the basic thing about sp3 hybridization. Now when you see sp2 hybridization, look at them. Give me a second. Now look at them. See, sp2 hybridization means 1s and 2p are participating in hybridization, and sp2 will be planar, triglonar planar. It will be like this. But sp2 means one more p is left over. See, you have 3 p orbitals, but you are using only sp2 means you are using only 2 p orbitals. One p orbital is left as such. That p orbitals remains as such without hybridization, and that is what forms a pi bond. That is what forms a pi bond. So this is what happens here. In acetic acid, this CH3 is sp3, whereas this carbon has formed sp2, and the pi bond is this one. In a double bond you have one sigma bond, and another one is pi bond. That pi bond is from oxygen atom. So sp2 is like this. To give you orbital picture, see, this is what happens. See, this one is CH3. This carbon has formed bonds with 3 hydrogens, CH3, and one more bond with the adjacent carbon. See, this is 1 sigma, 2 sigma, 3 sigma, and 4 sigma bonds. So 3 of the hydrogens, this one is from carbon. So it is forming 4 sigma bonds. So this carbon is in sp3 hybridization. Whereas this carbon has got a different thing. See, this carbon, see, this carbon is sp2 hybridized. sp2 hybridized means you have one unhybrid orbital is there, and in oxygen 2 you have one unhybrid orbital is there, and they form a pi bond. So that is what is, see, one bond is, this overlap is because of sigma bonding. This is between carbon and oxygen, this is sigma bonding, whereas this sideways overlap is because of pi bonding. So one is sigma bond and the other one is pi bond. So this carbon is sp2 hybridized because the remaining p orbital is what is this one. Unhybrid orbital is what is forming a pi bond with oxygen unhybrid orbital. This is what is there. In order to go a little bit deeper, oxygen, if you see, what is the atomic number of oxygen? 8. So it has got 1s2, 2s2, 2p4 electronic configuration. In valency shell, this one is occupied, whereas 2p4 means 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see these things are already electrons are paired. That is what we show on oxygen as 2 dots. Non-bonding. See, these two represents these two orbits already filled with electrons. So it can form only 2 bonds. So when you see a water molecule, see, oxygen, these lone pair electrons are already hybrid orbitals, and this one is another 2 hybrid orbitals. So total it is using sp3, 4 orbitals. In case of sp2, only one bond will be there, another one will be a vacant p orbital, and that is what is depicted here. This one is vacant p orbital. So oxygen is also undergoing sp2 hybridization. That is what here it is given. See here, this oxygen also sp2 hybridization. But the question is about carbon, so we stick with this two, sp3 and sp2. So hybridization is an important concept. When you understand them, you can get clear of everything. So again, if you have any doubt, go through it again. If you have any doubt, just leave a message there. Moving further, now next questions are based on aromaticity. So aromaticity, this question is asked in 2018 GPAT. Now the question is this one: which statement regarding Huckel's rule is false? Now understand this one, that Huckel's rule comes with aromatic compounds, right? Now let us understand the options. See, there must be 4n plus 2 pi electrons. Okay, the molecule must be planar or flat. The molecule must be cyclic. Each of the pi electrons must be associated with a conjugated double bond. See, all these rules must be followed in order for a compound to be aromatic. So these are all the rules which will say that if a ring has got all these properties, it will show aromaticity. But the question is not about aromaticity, but it is about Huckel rule. Let us see this one. See, Huckel rule is this one. Huckel rule states if a cyclic planar molecule has 4n plus 2 pi electrons, it is considered aromatic. See, in order to be aromatic, you have 4 rules are there. But to be specific, what Huckel says: 1, it has to be cyclic. 2, it has to be planar. 3, it should have 4n plus pi electrons. Regarding conjugated double bond, no, Huckel did not say that. Later on, researchers observed this is also required to be aromatic. So what is the question? Which statement regarding Huckel rule is false? So all these three are explained by Huckel, but not this one. So this is not according to Huckel. This is required condition for aromaticity. So my dear students, understand the questions. So these are all kind of traps. When people read them, they think all of them are aromatic compound. What is wrong with this question? No, the question is specifically about Huckel rule. Which one is false? He did not say this one. This is not included in Huckel rule. So the answer is this one. Moving to the next one. Which of the following is anti-aromatic? See, just now we have seen 4 required conditions for aromatic one. 1, it has to be cyclic. 2, it has to be planar or flat molecule. 3, it needs to have 4n plus 2 pi electrons. So all these 3 are Huckel rule. Another one, in order to be aromatic, it needs conjugated double bond. Now, this is aromatic one. But anti-aromatic, see, all of them is followed by anti-aromatic. Only exception is, instead of 4n plus 2 pi, it will have only 4n pi electron, and anti-aromatic compounds are highly unstable. See, this question is already discussed in my previous video, so I'm just briefing it. So these are rules for aromatic. Anti-aromatic, all 3 rules are there. Only exception is, instead of 4n plus 2 pi, 4n pi electrons are there. So you need to figure a ring which has got only 4n pi electrons. Look at them. See, each pi bond is made up of 2 electrons. So totally 3 pi bonds, 6 pi electrons. Fine. See, 4n plus 2 pi. N is an integer. If n is 1, 4 into 1 plus 2 is 6 electrons, 6 pi electrons. So this one is correct according to Huckel's rule. Now here, 2 pi bonds, that means 4 electrons, and here an electron pair plus 2. So totally 6 electrons. This one is correct. Benzene, 3 pi bonds, that means 6 electrons. Look at this. 1, 2, here it is a positive charge, so only 4 electrons. So what did I say? In order to be aromatic, only 4n pi electrons are there. So the option is this one. This is anti-aromatic. Again, aromaticity is being tested like this. Now, again, aromatic chemistry, there is a question from GPAT 2019. Select the correct order of ortho-para directing ability of functional groups from given below. Let us look up the options a little bit later, but let us understand what do you mean by this ortho-para directing. Look at them. This is a substituted benzene. Now, this substitution will direct the incoming group to particular places. See, on the benzene, the most common reaction is, what is this one? Electrophile. Electrophilic substitution is a characteristic reaction of benzene. Why? Benzene has got a delocalized electrons. Electron availability is there. So electrophile means a species which moves towards electron. Electrophile means to like. Electron means electrons. And substitution occurs. What happens? This electrophile comes here and it substitutes a proton. So proton goes outside and this electrophile comes inside. So that is what is substitution. So the characteristic reaction on benzene is electrophilic substitution. Now let us see what happens with electrophilic substitution. So this incoming electrophile can go and substitute here, giving a ortho product, or it can substitute here and giving a meta product, or it can substitute here and giving a para product. So where it has to substitute, whether ortho, meta or para, is directed by this functional group. So that functional groups will decide whether the incoming will come substituted at ortho or para. That is what is directing ability means. First one. Second one, some of this substitution will increase the rate of reaction of electrophilic substitution. Some of them will decrease the rate of reaction of electrophilic substitution. Now, why some of them are increasing the rate of the reaction and why some of them are decreasing rate of reaction, it's all depends upon electron availability. See, what is the reaction? Electrophilic substitution. So if more electrons are there, substitution will become faster. If this substituent is giving electrons to the ring, the reaction rate will be faster. If this substitution is removing electrons from the ring, the rate of reaction will be slower. So two things are there. One, directing. Second one, rate of reaction. Right? Now let us see how electron donating groups will increase the rate of reaction and in which direction they will direct. Let us see the example with phenol. Phenol means on the benzene you have OH substitution is there. And just now we have seen on the oxygen you have two of the non-bonding electrons are there. Lone pair electrons are non-bonding electrons. Now these electrons are moving on to the ring, because see, in benzene ring all the time delocalization of electrons are there. So there is a kind of electronic pull is there, so the surrounding electrons will be pulled towards the ring. So the electrons will come here and they will be moving. See, these are called as canonical forms. When you see them, the electron availability on this ortho, para, ortho positions are increasing. So what kind of reaction occurs? See, look at this. This is what is given. In ortho positions, in para positions, electronic availability is increasing. What kind of reactions occurs? Electrophilic substitution. So electrophile means it goes towards wherever more electrons are there. So where it goes, either ortho or para. This is what is meant by ortho para directing. So this is what I said here. So if a group releases electrons to the ring, it will be directing towards ortho and para. If a group is withdrawing electrons from the ring, it directs towards meta. Right. Now here the question is about ortho para, only this one, the group which is releasing electrons. But you need to arrange in an order, strongest first to weakest last. Now how the strong and weak comes? If a group is releasing more amount of electrons, it will be a strong directing one. If less amount of electrons are releasing, it becomes a weakest one. Look at one. See, in all of them, the first option is either NHR or NHCOR. You decide which one is this, you will get the answer. Now look at them. NHR, you have electrons are there, electrons are here. But the thing is, see, this is what is NHR and this is substituted to the ring. So the electrons can be moving here. Now in this NHCOR, you have NH is there and it is bonded with a carbonyl group. Carbonyl group, carbon is attached to oxygen. Oxygen electronegativity is more, so electrons will be pulled from the carbon. So there is a kind of little deficiency of electrons from carbon. So these electrons are pulled towards carbon rather than coming to the ring. They are most probably will be going here. So when you see both of them, so this one NHR will be easily releasing electrons to the ring than amides. So this is the answer. See, straight away you can get this. Only two things are there. And after that you have this one, and then phenyl ring also releases electron. And the least one is a halogen. So the option is this one. But the important thing is you need to understand what do you mean by this ortho para directing and how the ring activity is increased. This is also on aromaticity. Right? Yeah, moving further. So choose the product of the following reaction. So this one is known as nitration mixture. See, nitration mixture on benzene, nitration occurs. So what happens in nitration when you use this nitration mixture? It gives nitrobenzene. Nitrobenzene. Let us answer this question. See, you have a big reaction about what all the things forms with this nitration mixture, but let us understand how can we easily do this answer. Look at them. See, HNO3, H2SO4. See, wherever you see the stoichiometry should balance all the atoms. So how many hydrogens are there here? This is 1, this one is 4. So totally you need to have 5 hydrogens. Now look at the mixture. Here 3, here 2. So 5 hydrogens. So this one balances. May be true. Here 3, here 2. So this one also balances. So may be true. 1 hydrogen, 2 hydrogen, totally 3 hydrogens. No, we need to have 5 hydrogens. So this one is wrong. 2, 2, 4 hydrogens. So what happens? This one is also wrong. So without knowing anything, just look at this and balance it. You will see these two are ruled out. They are wrong. Now you are left with only these two things. What is the difference in these two things? Only here. This is minus, this one is plus. Let us understand a little bit of things here. Now look at this. H2SO4 is a very good strong acid. It releases H plus and then HSO4. Then what? H plus means it is leaving an electron. If it is leaving an electron with this, what do you get here? You get a negative charge, not a positive charge. Where do you see that negative charge? Here. So what is the answer? First one. So my dear students, you don't need to understand all the reactions. Just look at the balancing of hydrogens, you will get it, and use your common sense, you will get the answer. This is what you need to develop instead of cramming, memorizing all the things. For your knowledge, so this is what happens. H2SO4 and HNO3, it hydrates nitric acid. Nitric acid releases these things, and finally you will get this mixture. This is what we have done, and this is what is typical a nitration reaction is, and you get a nitrobenzene. So you need to develop such kind of things. Look at them and you should be able to answer it. Okay, let us move to further now. Which compound is most basic? Now look at them. This is an aromatic compound, this is an aromatic compound, this is an aromatic compound. What is the uniqueness of aromatic compound? In all aromatic compounds, you have delocalized electrons are there. Delocalized electrons means electrons will be revolving here. Now what do you have on the nitrogen? A lone pair of electrons. Now the ability of these delocalizing electrons is always the electrons will be a little bit drawn towards the ring because of this delocalization. So here the electrons are drawn towards it. Here also electrons are drawn. Here also electrons are drawn a little bit towards it. Now let us understand what you mean by basic. You know, in order to be basic, we have Arrhenius theory is there, Bronsted-Lowry theory is there, Lewis theory is there. According to Lewis theory, electron pair donor is a base. So, and in all of this, the nitrogen is important one because it has got electron pair. So the basicity is depend upon the ability of this nitrogen to donate these electrons. In all the aromatic compounds, when the electrons are revolving inside, always there is a kind of pull towards the ring of these electrons. So the electron availability a little bit decreases. But what happens to this one? No, the electrons can be readily donated, and this is most basic. So this is the answer. Again, the concept is based on aromaticity. So this is how the aromatic concepts are being tested. Again, this is asked in 2019 GPAT. See, every question I picked it from only GPAT. This is also from 2019 GPAT. So this is how your concepts are being tested. Now, the next one is the big thing, named reactions. You have a lot of named reactions in the syllabus. Let me explain few of the things. So see, this is from GPAT 2019. Now look at them. Identify the named reaction. You have given a aryl ketone. This is hydrazine, and hydrazine removal of water gives hydrazone. In presence of base, this is what happened. So what has happened? Complete reduction. See, oxygen is removed, right? So you know, when you see this, you can guess this is reduction. So it is not this one or this one, either Clemmensen's reduction or Wolff-Kishner reduction. Both of them will carry out the same reaction, but the difference comes with reagents and medium. Now, Wolff-Kishner is this one, hydrazine. What is the medium here? Base. See, this is repeatedly being tested. This particular reaction, I'll give you the list. This is repeatedly being tested. Clemmensen's also does the same thing, but only the difference is it uses zinc amalgam as a reagent, and the medium is HCl or acid. So this is very important one, these two, Clemmensen's and Wolff-Kishner. So you need to know, see, whenever you read a named reaction, you need to read what is the reagent used, what kind of medium is there, and what is the conversion, what is the starting material, and what is the final product. These four things you need to understand. So this is tested on GPAT 2019, right? Now let us see one more thing. See, this is on the same year, GPAT 2019, this question is being asked. Look at them. Conversion of a carbonyl functionality directly to its hydrocarbon in basic media achieved by, look at this. This is a carbonyl. This is hydrocarbon counterpart in basic media. What is this reaction? Wolff-Kishner. Excuse me. So what is this one? Again, Wolff-Kishner. On the same paper, two of the questions. That means 8 points are only for Wolff-Kishner reduction. Now understand the importance of this reaction. Not only in 2019, in 2022, look at this question. Product of the following reaction. A carbonyl, hydrazine and base, you will get a hydrocarbon. What is this again? Again, Wolff-Kishner. The same reaction is tested in different wordings. Look at them. This is with a reaction. This is with only words. This is again with a reaction. The answer is same, Wolff-Kishner. So understand the importance of named reactions. Next one. See, again, this question is asked in 2019 GPAT. Look at them. Gabriel ring closure method is employed for the synthesis of. This is a very specific named reaction to synthesize aziridine. Look at the reaction. See, the Gabriel ring synthesis is specific for aziridine. See, this is a beta bromomethylamine. See, this is a functional group. This is alpha. This is beta carbon. In beta, you have bromine is there. Beta bromo methylamine. And this, what happens is, look at them. See, this bromine is a very good leaving group. It comes out as Br minus. That means these electrons are taken by this bromine. So what happens with that? Carbon will get a partial positive charge. Now this positive charge, to neutralize that, these electrons will move here and you will get this ring. This ring is what is known as aziridine. So this synthesis is what is known as Gabriel ring closure. This is a named reaction. So aziridines is by this method. See, oxazine. See, azine means 6-membered nitrogen rings. 1,4-oxazine means this one. You need to understand these things too. Azole means 5-membered nitrogen containing heterocyclic rings. Azine 6-membered. Azipine 7-membered. Aziridine 3-membered. So this is oxazine. Oxaziridine. See, aziridine we have already seen it is a 3-membered ring. Oxaziridine means if oxygen is here like this, so this is what is oxaziridine. Oxygen is a 3-membered ring like this. So you need to understand heterocyclics, but the named reactions are always important. Just you need to understand starting material, final product and the reagents. Right? Now, moving to the next one. Now look at this. Reaction of an alpha halo ester. Now ester is C double bond OR, right? The next carbon is alpha carbon. If you have a halogen here, this is alpha halo ester with an aldehyde or ketone. So what do you have here? You have aldehyde or ketone. It could be anything. In presence of base like NaNH2 gives beta epoxy carboxylic acid. Understand these wordings. Beta epoxy carboxylic ester. So this is imagine this one is a carboxylic ester. The next carbon is alpha, the next carbon is beta. This one is alpha, this one is beta carbons. Give me a second. Sorry. So see, this is an ester, C double bond OR. Now the next carbon is alpha and then next carbon is beta. So alpha beta epoxy carboxylic ester means they form an epoxy bond. So this is an alpha carbon, this is a beta carbon and this is alpha beta epoxy ester. In fact, there is a specific name for this kind of compounds and they are known as glycidic acids, glycidic esters. This is an ester, so this is known as glycidic ester. If you understand what is this alpha beta epoxy carboxylic acid, you will get the answer. You know, because in the answer you have this name. So learning organic chemistry is easy when you understand what do you mean by that compound name. In detail, see, this is what is alpha haloester, a carbonyl group. In presence of base, you get this. See, epoxy esters are known as glycidic esters. This is what I have explained. So simple one. This is known as Darjan condensation. So that is what Darjan glycidic synthesis or Darjan condensation. So this is given in the syllabus. So I'm telling you the name reaction, just learn what is the transformation, what is the medium. That is enough. Moving to the last one. See, the conversion of aryl diazonium chloride. Again, this is from GPAT 2019. Aryl diazonium chloride to aryl chloride. So this is aryl diaza means 2 nitrogens. Diazonium chloride to aryl chloride. Achieved in the presence of, see again this reaction is Sand-Meyer reaction. And this uses copper salts. So see again they are asking what is the media, what is required to do this conversion. By the way, this reaction is very important one. The reason is, see, I have explained on the benzene, you see all the characteristic reaction is electrophilic substitution. Electrophiles will come and substitute. But here, look at them. What is a halogen? This is a nucleophile. So on aromatic rings, nucleophilic substitution occurs, and that reaction is Sand-Meyer reaction. So this is very important one. Look at them. See, what happens is in this reaction, the aryl diazonium salts along with copper, all of them will undergo this nucleophilic substitution. A nucleophile will come and attaches. This is a very rare reaction, but the reaction rate is very rapid. The reason is nitrogen. Nitrogen comes out as a gas. If you remember Le Chatelier principles, if one of the product is rapidly removed, the reaction rate is enhanced. So the gas easily goes out, so the reaction is pushed in this forward direction and you will get the product. And one more uniqueness is nucleophilic substitution, and the reaction is like this. So aryl diazonium, the copper in +1 state, and it occurs with a single electron transfer kind of reaction, and finally it regenerates the copper with +1. So what do you need to understand? What is required and what is the conversion is. So again, this is on 2019. So all these reactions are very important. So I have covered some of the important points in organic chemistry. I'll make another video to cover all the remaining topics. Thank you for watching this video.